students yet. Okay. Once it's out, I will send you guys a message. Okay. So yeah, since my video yesterday, I posted really late. I'm just gonna briefly go over your notes with you, and then we'll do the homework together. Okay, so day 1, which is yesterday's homework, we started off with a review, which is like, how do we convert from log to exponents? Remember, if this is my base, I rewrite my base as my big number. And then whatever's on the other side from the log, it goes to the exponents. And then your argument, which is your n, will be whatever the result is. Okay, so it's the base to the exponents equal to argument. And same thing to the other one. This section, what you're doing is you're solving for the letter, whatever letter that you're given. Okay, so if you look down here, we got some exponent facts that just review it real quick. When we have 4 squared, it equals to 16. You all should know that, okay? But whenever we have a 4 to the negative 2 power, that whole thing goes to the denominator and the negative goes away because we rewrote it as a fraction, which becomes 1 over 16. Okay, last one. If I have a cube root of 4, when I rewrite it like an exponential form, it's 4 to the 1/3. Okay. And then next part we have, when argument is unknown, that means when this number right here, it's a letter. When you rewrite it, I think this one is the easiest because when you rewrite it, it's a number to an exponent of a number, which is 4 to the 3rd power, equals to the letter. And all you got to do is just calculate this, either in the calculator or do it, you know, write it out. So it's 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64. Okay, the middle one, now this outside number, the exponent is unknown. So usually we put our exponents right here, right? So 4 to the x power equals to 64. How do we solve for x right there? 4 to the x power, 64, I broke it down. And it's 3/4, so it'll be 4 to the 3rd power. And look at what I highlight up here. These are gonna set equal to each other because we have the same base. If 4 is the base, like if you have the same base at the bottom, you can set the x equals to the 3. And that's your answer. Okay. Last one. Base is unknown. That means if the little number right here is a letter, we still rewrite it. So all of these questions, I still rewrite it like the exponential form, which is b to the 3rd power equals to 64. And then break down your 64 into prime numbers, which we get 2 to the 6th power. And we get rid of the exponents over on the left side, which is 1/3. And then it's 2 to the 2nd power. Probably a lot of information because I'm just reading it. Let's practice some of these questions. I did some of these, but let's do it on our actual homework. Okay, so we got 8 questions to do on the first page. Again, let's start off with the top 2 questions and then we just keep moving from there. So the first question, rewrite it. Remember, if it's log base x equal to n, when I rewrite it, we start with the base to the n power equal to x, like that. Okay, so let's look at number 1 and rewrite it. We're going to start with 7 to the n power equals to 343. Okay, and I want this to be the same base. I want the 343 to end up with 7 to a certain power. So let's take our 343 and break it down. What can I break it down into? Answer me in the chat. 343, I can break it down into what times what? Or you can answer out loud. Okay, 49 times 7. Good. And 49, if I keep breaking it down, it would be 7 and 7. And you know these three are prime numbers. So I know 343 is the same thing as saying 7 to the third power. Okay, so I'm going to drop down my 7 to the n. So you see, now that we have exactly the same base, I can take my exponent, set it equal to my exponent, and that's your answer. Okay. Let me have you guys convert number 2, and then see if you can go all the way till the end. If not, then at least convert it first. I want you to try to do it on your own first. Okay, if you think you got the final answer, feel free to tell me in the chat. I'll give you guys 1.5 minutes. Okay, so let me go over this. Yes, the answer is actually -3. Let me tell you guys why. So some of you guys got 6 because you keep breaking it down and you probably broke down like a lot of 2s. So I have 1/4 to the n power equals to 64, right? Remember 1/4, I can rewrite it as 4 to a -1 power, which is negative n. Okay, so right here, 1/4 to the nth power is the same thing as saying 4 to the negative n. And here we go. We want 64 to be 4 to a certain power. I'm going to break down 64 to 4 times 16, 4 times 4, and we got 3 of them. Okay, now we have the same base. I can take my exponents and set them equal to each other. And looks like we have to solve for n a little bit by dividing -1 on both sides, so I know n equals to -3. Okay. Let's continue. I think you guys may want me to do some more. Yes. Let's maybe do like 3 more, and then I'll leave 3 of them for you to do for homework. I think in your video, in the video I made yesterday, I did 3. I don't remember which 3, but I did 3. So let's look at number 3. Rewrite it. We got n to the 5th power equals to 1024. And here's the thing. Let's break down 1024 into numbers that we know. Okay, it's an even number, so it's always divisible by 2. You can keep dividing by 2 until you know this number. 2 and 5, 12. 2 and 256. 2 and 128. 2 and 64. And 2 and 32. Okay, you can keep going, but I can tell you that when you keep breaking down 32, total of 2s, you have 2 to the 10th power. Okay, you can still keep going though, but it's 2 to the 10th power, and this equals to n to the 5th power. Okay, so this question is I need to solve for n, and I need to get rid of that exponent. Okay, what do I multiply or raise to what power so I can get rid of the 5? Tell me in the chat real quick. What do I raise my exponent to so I can get rid of the 5 right now? Remember, I want this to cancel out with something, but I can't cancel it out yet because I don't have a number. Good, I multiply by 1/5. 1/5, like that. So these get canceled out. But I still gotta multiply by 1/5 on this side. So I have 2 to the 10 times 1/5 is just a 2. Yeah. Right. Okay. So wait, am I doing this correctly? Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be 4. That's good. So your final answer will just be 4 because it's 2 to the 2nd power. Okay. Can you guys look through all the questions and then tell me which other 2 you want me to work on? Just tell me in the chat. First come, first serve. First person who tell me, I'll do that question. Number 5, sure. And one more question. You can tell me how long. Number 5, yes, it looked really complicated. We're gonna rewrite it first. We got n to the 3/4 equals to 4th root of 8. Okay, remember earlier we said that 4th root of 8 let's rewrite it as 8 to the 1/4. Okay, and then can we do something to 8? Actually, no, we don't have to. We can just go ahead and do what we just did at the top to solve for n. We multiply both sides by what? So I can have n stand by itself. Very similar to the top question. Again, someone tell me if I want n to stand by itself, I would have to multiply, good job, by 4/3. 4/3. So these get canceled out. Okay, so now on the left side, n is by itself. Right side, 1/4 and 4/3. The fourths get canceled out, so I have 8 to the 1/3. Okay, and we're really finding cube roots of 8. That means what are the three numbers when we multiply them together? It gives me 8, and that would be 2. Okay, because 8 is 4 and 2, 2 and 2. I have 3 sets of 2 to make an 8. So that's number 2. That's the answer is 2. Okay. I think I did number 8 for you in your homework. Number 4? Sure. Number 4, it's n to the -4 equals to 1/625. Okay, 625 right now is not in any exponential form. Yeah, I know some of you guys have to go to your other meeting. Go ahead and do so. 625, I gotta break it down. And since it ends with a 5, I know it's always gonna be divisible by 5. 5 times, what was it? I think it's 125. Yeah, 125. And then I break it down again. So it's 5 and 25, 5 and 5. These are all my odd numbers. Okay, and remember, if 625 is at the bottom, we can rewrite this as 5 to the -4. Just based on how it looks right now, can you tell me what n is? You see how they both have exactly the same exponents? That means my base is exactly the same number, which is n equal to 5. That's your answer. Okay. This may be quite difficult because usually I teach log in pre-calc, but with our new book, I'm teaching this in Algebra 2 as well. Okay, so I am going to stop here for my day 1 homework. For the last 3, if you would like to do that with me at the end, we can do that in a bit. I'm gonna go to day 2 and day 4 so you guys know how to do those ones. Okay, so day 2 and day 4, Tuesdays and Thursday, there are 4 rules that you have to know before you do any of those questions. And again, in the video, I told you guys that like the middle column, it's just review, and that's, you don't really have to focus on that column. The only column I want you to focus on is this focus, logarithm column. Okay, so there's something called zero property. And zero property is if I have log base b of 1, anything to the 1, it equals to 0. Okay. It's not really needed for your homework, but you just kind of have to know it. Okay. The next 3 are more important. Product rule. If I have log, just 1 log of x and y, that means when you multiply 2 numbers together, I can actually expand it and make it into log x adding a log y. okay? It's like when this is multiplication, you break it down into 2 logs. And then the next one, if I have division, kind of the same as the top, we call this quotient rule, but we split it into 2 logs, but we put a minus sign in the middle. Okay, so keep in mind, if it's multiplication, this is add. If it's division, this is subtract. Okay, and the last one, it's called power to power rule. If I have a number x and I raise it to a certain power, okay? Am I gonna be posting this? Yes, I will be posting this. The video is already up online, but the recording, yes, I will post this later. But if I don't do it by tomorrow, someone send me a message and remind me, okay? One more time, this exponents right here, n, we put it right in the front. So it looks like n times log bx. And I showed an example right here in the front with the log x to the 5th power. Any exponents that you have, you put it in the front, which is 5 log x. Okay? And then this second one, log 6x. We are using one of those rules at the top, and since this is together as multiplication, we use product rule. We split it into log 6 and log x. Okay, last example. We got something called ln. Okay, this is served the same as log. Don't get scared if you see ln, it's the same as log. All the properties are still the same thing. Okay, so I have ln 3 and ln y squared. So ln 3 is still ln 3, but ln y squared, I take the exponents to the front, which is 2 ln y. And that's the most that I can expand it to. Okay, I hope this is not as confusing as it looks. Let's start on one of these questions. Let's do the top questions. And then let's do like maybe the first 4. And then do the first 4, and then I want you guys to tell me your answer to number 3 in the chat. Okay, so do 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you guys want me to, how should I post both at the same time? Should I? Give me a second. I'm gonna go back to, oops, this is it. I'm gonna go back to the notes and screenshot these rules. And you do the questions. Okay, so right now I am posting both, and I have your questions here and the rules up at the top. So go ahead and do 1 through 4 and answer number 3 for me in the chat, so I know you're with me right now. And if there's any of them that you're like, I'm still confused, please let me know too, so I can go over it. Okay, so I will go over this. Some of us reach out to me and said that they want me to explain a little bit more. Okay, for number one, look at the rules at the top. Look at these rules at the top. Focus on the log side. So if it's log sub 3, the sub number doesn't matter at all. Okay, don't worry about the sub number. Okay, I'm gonna go over number one first. So you see how I have 5 and x together? If I have to rewrite this, which rule does that kind of look like? You can tell it kind of looks like product rule, right? Because I have log and then xy together. So I'm gonna expand it by writing it two separate logs. So it'll be log base 3 of 5, adding a log base 3 of x, like that, using my product rule. Okay, next one. We have a log base 5, a over b. So number 2, if it's an a over b, out of all 4 of them, it would be the quotient rule, right? And to rewrite it, I gotta put a minus sign when I split up the 2 logs. So it'll be log base 5 of a minus log base 5 of b. Number 1 and 2 okay so far? Number 3, I have raise it to the power of 4. So out of all 4 of these, obviously is not multiplying because we're not multiplying anything. We're not dividing anything. And we don't have a 1. So we're taking the n to the front of it. That's it. Okay, the baby number at the bottom stays as a 3. So it would be, take this 4 to the front. It would be 4 log base 3 of n. You don't need that parentheses, but you can still put it, okay? So I should not see any equal signs. I should see just taking the 4 to the front, and that's it. Okay? Next one. Number 4. I got log x minus log 7. And that's it for the question. Yes? No? Okay, you guys do 5 and 6. I did number 9 for you in your in the video, so maybe you can go back and check on that. Why don't you guys do number 5 for me? And tell me real quick in the chat, and I'll spend like 1 more minute on this, and I'll go over the next page. Okay, so for number 5, it's log base 2, and we are dealing with product rule. because we have two things multiplying to each other. So break it down to m plus log base 2 of n. Yeah? Okay. Any other questions on this page? I think some of you guys just need to digest the information. So I'll be posting this so you can kind of go back and rewatch and finish the other questions. Okay. So on the next page, which is day 4, day 3 is, let me see, number 6. Number 6, oh, sorry, number 6, real quick. This one is not p times q. This is actually an exponent, so let me rewrite this. Thank you for asking. So this q is up here. So it wouldn't be product rule. And think about which rule would it be out of all of them. Okay, it's at the exponents. Okay, so for day 4, it's the other way around. So I have to put it back together as one log. And that may be a little bit hard to do, but I think you guys can do it. Okay, so let's do as many as we can. I have a meeting at 2, so let's do some of these. Let's look at number 1 real quick. Let's start with an easy one and we'll go into the harder ones. Number 1, this log right here, I can't do anything to this anymore. Okay, because it says log x. This one, you see how I have a 2 in front of it, in front of the log? I am gonna do my rules in reverse order. So instead of putting it separately, I am putting the 2 back up in the exponents. Okay, so it would be log y square. Because think about it, if I'm doing it like the previous page, I take the 2 in the front. But this one, I'm doing it in reverse order. I'm taking the 2 back up at the exponents. And then I rewrite everything else. Okay, so now that I have a log and I have another log with the minus sign in the middle. Okay, so this time we're going to be utilizing one of our rules. So look up here. We're going from the end to back to the front. Which rule would I be using if I have a minus sign in the middle? Anyone know? If I have a minus sign in the middle out of those, we really don't care about the first rule.
The quotient rule?
Good job. Quotient rule, I'm going to be putting my division. Actually, let me put it further away because I start with my log first. Log and then my division. And then whatever is next to the log, we just rewrite it at the top and bottom like this. Okay? I would say your first step, check the power to power. So first step, check power to power. And then if you can use product or quotient, do that. We always want to put the numbers, like look at number 2. Out of all 3 of those logs, I can do something to the first log because I have a number in front of this. I can take that back up to the exponents. And I can't really do anything to the last one anymore. So I'm just going to rewrite those. Okay, first one, I rewrite it as log base 4 x to the 3rd power. The 3 just goes up to the top. Okay, now I'm going to be using my product rule and quotient rule from left to right. So from left, that means I'm looking at these 2 terms first. Don't worry about the last term. Just look at the first 2 terms. How do I put that all together? This is a plus in the middle, so that means we're going to be using our product rule. So it'll be log base 4, and then we multiplied these items together, which is x to the third times y minus log base 4 of z. Okay. Now that I'm looking at this whole thing together, I have a minus sign in the middle. So I'm going to be using quotient rule to divide the items together, which is x to the third power y over z, like that. That's your final answer. Okay, so try your best to do the division, do the power to power, and then put it back together as one log. Okay, I got 5 more minutes. Out of all of these questions, is there any of them that you would like me to do for you? Only in the chat. Okay, so it's at number 5. So I'll do number 5. If you have any other questions, just type it in there. So number 5, this log, I can't do anything, so I'm going to rewrite it. This log, I can put the 3 at the exponent, so it'll be log y to the third power. Okay, you pick a good question because this 1/2, I got to bring it to the exponents first. So just still treat it like z to the 1/2, like that. Okay, and now we're going to go from left to right, do the first 2 log, put that together as log x times y third minus log z 1/2. Okay, now we're going to combine these 2 logs together. And look at the middle. We have a minus sign. So it'll be log with the division. Okay, so xy third, z to the 1/2. That's your answer. Okay. Number 7. Okay, 7's a good question too. 7, it's ln, but remember ln's the same thing as logs. So if this is a log, I have a number in front, I still take this to the exponents, which is ln 2x plus 3, raise it to the second power. Minus, take the 4 to the exponents, which is ln y minus 2 to the 4th power, like this. Okay, and then one final step, and then you're done. We start with our ln, with our division sign because it's minus, and we just write that at the top, first part at the top and second part at the bottom. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, I'm gonna start with number 6 for you. Number 6, I would say it might be easier if you write it out like you distribute your negative to each of them. Like this. And then you take each of these exponents, like bring it back to the exponents. And then do what we have been doing from here. Okay. Take it back to the exponents of the x or y. And then you should be able to complete from there. Okay. Any other questions? Friday notes will be given to you soon. And if you don't have any other questions, then I will be jumping into my other meeting. Any questions for me? And I think some of you guys also have another meeting to go to. I'm gonna stop recording.